Hello, welcome back to this channel. Now, today is going to be a very sad and disappointing video to really film and talk about, but it's a video that really needs to be filmed. So, I've actually really been hinting at this for a little bit in the last few videos we posted about a month ago. And since then, I've been really wanting to do a video for like the last 3 weeks. I keep holding it off by possibly some things that could change that plan. Now, if you guys know me, I have 3 businesses. Tropical, I also do Lego investing on the side too, and one of my favorites, I have an indoor greenhouse, which I do a lot of filming on my main channel, which is going to be the Luke Goforth channel. So, really, what's kind of happened lately is I've grown a lot more into those areas, and after running these 3 businesses the last few years, I really found it a lot more difficult to put the same amount of time and energy into all 3 every single day. Lego investing is very, very fun because it's really fun. It's really something I've been interested in doing for a while, and same thing with slime. At the same time, after running those 3 businesses, the most time I really put towards is my indoor greenhouse. I've really wanted to build a setup like that actually since I've built Tropical about 3-4 years ago. And after about 2 years of having that dream, after a lot of convincing, I built the setup. Tropical already been open for 2 years, already had 2 amazing seasons. Then I built the setup, and over the last year, I've made so many changes. I've been introducing so many new growing ways, from aquaponics, which is basically growing plants in fish waste water that is extremely good plant nutrients. There's a better way to describe it that doesn't sound as bad sounding, but at the end of the day, once you actually think about it, that's what it is. And to be honest, I really never thought I'd be interested into gardening that much to the point where I'd be working with fish. So over the last few months, I've really become just way more interested in growing plants, really fascinated by it. And then one day I happened to be scrolling over YouTube. I slowly started to get more and more videos recommended of farms. And then one day, I don't know what I was doing that day, but I just happened to think, you know what? What is my plan after high school? Now, if you guys know me, I actually started Tropical when I was in middle school, really just fascinated by wanting to run and own a business. So I started Tropical. Now, at the time, it was also COVID, so the slime demand was off the chart. I ended up starting Tropical. It did very, very well, and over time, I just kind of feel like the demand for slime is still there, but it's nothing compared to the demand for slime in the very beginning. So that's kind of one reason why I'm more interested in doing what I'm actually doing. So I will go into the greenhouse in a second and show you guys around, but I've really been interested in growing produce, really fascinated by it, and to be honest, I've always had this set up for testing, learning about plants, but I feel like after I've learned so much, the fun isn't there anymore, and I need to kind of change something more significant, something that I really wanted to do in the very beginning. I ended up building the setup. I actually tried really hard to convince my parents to start a business where I sold plants. That didn't turn out, so I ended up convincing them in building the setup where I just grew plants to really learn more about them, and that's what I did. I'm actually mind blown with actually how much I've learned. But over time, I've really been fascinated by actually the process of having a produce business. So after a lot of convincing, a lot of research, a lot of looking to see if this could be successful, and a lot of convincing, I'm really, really hoping I can launch this next business in about 2 years. So this business is going to be Goforth Produce. The setup I have right now is absolutely amazing, but I'm going to expand it by 3 times the size. And the problem is, you can actually hear the fans going off in the other room, maybe some of the water being filtered throughout the main aquaponic system. But the problem is, I can't exactly have a greenhouse selling and growing produce while Tropical working with slime, glue, borax, lotion, shaving cream. I don't really think a health inspector is gonna really like that. And the problem is, this room is set up very, very well for kind of a zone 3. Now, the main zone is going to be the growing room. That is going to be the indoor garden where we grow everything. That room is also going to be the planting room too. And here we actually have the bar area where it's now set up, where our main packaging station is for just storing boxes right now, and this area. So we actually have a huge Bowflex in another room that needs to be eventually moved, which would be moved basically exactly where I'm sitting. And then I also have to get a big refrigerator. It does not fit in this room except right there in the corner, and I'll show you guys that in a second. So I really do want to say this really quickly before I do really talk about that main plant and really what's going to happen with just this layout in this room and really what I'm excited to really work with later in the future. Problem with that is Tropical just isn't going to have, I'm not going to have time to run Tropical. With that business, I'm going to be working with that 24/7, working with other people to help that be as successful as possible, and just really working that business after I graduate from high school. So the problem is I've already kind of seen that a little bit. Right now, this is a beautiful business, but I really put a lot more time that I could be putting towards Tropical, towards lake investing, and towards the greenhouse, because that's what I really found a lot more interested into. Now, at the end of the day, making slime is very, very fun, but at the end of the day, after 4 years of running the slime business, it does get a little bit repetitive. Getting in here every day, packing orders, filming some videos for you guys, making some shorts, those are fun. I'm not saying I don't like it, but the part that I'm starting to kind of fall away from is making new slime. Every day, at the end of the day, once you actually think about it, I work with slime and nothing else. There's just, for me as a person, I really need a lot of hands-on stuff. More, just something new every day. Something new constantly happening, and that's what the greenhouse gives. Something new is going on every single day, so it's nothing different. So the problem with this is every day I get in here and I make a new slime. I'm just working with slime. I'm working with glue, borax, so many different things that are very, very fun to mix together and really see the chemical reaction that those form to make a beautiful slime that's really just calm, relieving to play with. But the problem is the plan that I have in store right now, and I will say before I do go more into this video, the plan isn't 100% yet. Go Forth Produce still needs a lot more planning, while this needs a lot more planning. Now, sadly, over the last few years, we've slowly rolled into a little bit of some debt with running ads, just doing advertising, getting more ingredients that we actually really need. These tables weren't very cheap, so over time we've run into a little bit of debt, not a ton of it, but at the end of the day, it's still a little bit stressful to kind of figure out how we can make that money back. And to be honest, after I really looked at a lot of sheets, looked at a lot of other slime businesses, I just really kind of feel like the slime market really isn't there when I first started doing slime. I will say the market still is doing pretty good at the end of the day. It has not completely fallen yet, but at the end of the day, I'm slowly moving into other ideas, constant new ideas, and just it's time to, well, move on, I guess. So the problem with this thing is I can't exactly say goodbye and that's it. That's just it. And same with this title. This title basically says the end of Tropical is soon, but it hasn't said it's now. So what I'm going to be doing throughout the next few months is I'm going to be throwing out a few new slimes, mainly some slimes that I got ingredients. I can't kind of return those ingredients, like some of the sponges I still have to use in some of the slimes. Some like fake snow, clay I got a long time ago. I still need to kind of use some of those in some slimes. So that's going to be the plan. I also have to kind of go through the rest of the containers. And I'm also hoping at the end of the day, once we actually kind of say goodbye in like a year, I still have to sell a few things. So some of the shelves I'm going to have to sell off. Some of the clay molds you can see there, I'm going to try to sell to maybe some other slime places that need them more than really just throwing them away. Then I have a lot of charms that I'm not going to use. So I'm going to sell those most likely on eBay or something like that. And if you guys are interested in maybe buying some of those, I'd be very interested to kind of show you guys what we have and stuff like that. If you guys are interested, really love that. But there's gonna be a lot of news slowly coming out throughout the next few months. There's not going to be many videos, I will say that. We're going to be mainly focusing on shorts here and there, but we're going to be doing a lot more slimes, and then once we start to sell out, most likely in a few months we're going to do a sale, and we're going to kind of sell the rest of the slimes, try to get out of debt and make a little bit of some profit, and then we're officially going to kind of close it off, and we're going to start construction for Go Forth Produce. And very, very excited to really see what's in store for the future for just Tropical. That, and there's a lot of exciting stuff. Now the thing is, when I built Tropical, I really wanted to learn about business. I really was just interested in like entrepreneurship, and this is what Tropical has given me. Tropical has made me feel extremely confident in the business world. It's given me so many it's made me view business a lot better than how I did when I first started Tropical. It's just made me better from decisions, managing stuff, managing money, especially that, and managing stock, like slime stock. So definitely a lot of beautiful things I've learned from Tropical, but at the end of the day, I was always kind of telling you guys, eventually there is going to be a day we're going to say goodbye. There's not really an easy way to say it, but we're going to kind of slowly start to sell out, and then we're not going to restock. So that's kind of the sad thing about it, but we're going to try to make as many slimes as possible, a lot of ice cold lemonade, and just try to use up the rest of our ingredients the best we can, and just slowly start to sell out of all those. So very, very excited to really film a lot more videos for you guys and kind of wrap up Tropical. But there's also a lot more exciting stuff happening in the future. So that's where I get into the next part of the video. I really want to kind of just take you guys around this beautiful space, and I want to talk to you guys about what ideas I have for Go Forth Produce, and maybe you might be interested in checking out our main channel where we're giving you guys a lot of information on really what's in store for this beautiful business. So let's go ahead and start the second half of today's video. So here is actually how close it is. I'm gonna say I was just filming right here, and the setup is right here. I will say this setup is absolutely beautiful, and I've gotten so many great opportunities to grow so many plants. Check out that. We're even working with fish. Now, they're not really in the main spot, but they're all kind of back there, kind of just starting to go to bed. We actually built an ecosystem, working with a ton of life in there, and then just really learning about how an ecosystem can function, growing so many plants. Actually, a lot of the plants I'm growing in here right now, I never thought I'd grow, like strawberries. I never really thought I'd be growing something like that in this room. I was actually really hoping to grow maybe like 2 plants, lettuce, maybe some other stuff, and that's it. And over time, I've really just been fascinated by this. So I've gotten a lot of strawberries, and you're actually looking at half of what I'm working with right now. This room is great, but I'm actually working on a 2.0 setup and trying to learn as much as possible. So it's sitting in here currently. This shelf is huge, and I'm looking at possibly installing 14 of these shelves. Keep that in mind. That is just one. So this setup is going to be huge. This room is going to be completely redone from lighting, possibly walling. I would be surprised if we did redo the wall, but right now it is on the table to redo the floor. I'm not saying we are. Definitely a lot of ideas, and this plan, just this business idea came up a few months ago, and right now we're making more progress than ever on ideas. So the setup is basically the only thing I really looked into right now, and a lot of other stuff is coming up right now. I'm going to be doubling the size of the aquaponics system, and instead of having 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, we're going to be having 4 rows. We're going to have one almost against the wall over here. Now, obviously, enough room where electrical stuff can still be worked with on the other side. We're going to have one right here. We're going to have one right here. And then we're going to have the aquaponics system right here. And I'm super excited for the fish, because the fish are going to get a brand new tank. actually a tank about double the size. There's gonna be a lot of big changes in it. More designed for fish to really thrive in this instead of being just kind of moved in a way. I'm trying to find the best word to describe that, but instead of really having them in a small fish tank, they'll have a lot more room to work with, and we'll be able to work with a lot more amazing fish and get a lot more. So there's quite a few fish in there already, probably a little bit more than recommended, but I'm really excited to really work with a lot more. And this tank is honestly huge. It is, I'm not going to say it's double the size. It's close to double the size though. So that's amazing. Now you're probably looking around like, how on earth am I going to have that much stuff in here? This room will have to be completely taken apart. That sounds like it's kind of a puzzle piece, but in a way it is. A lot of the boxes will be used for selling Legos with Lego Investing. The Lego or the basketball goal will kind of be moved in a lot of the bins over there too. And this space will just honestly look amazing once done. This room is also going to have a lot done. It's going to be completely cleared out. I'm going to be using these shelves for Lego Investing because my Lego Investing business is growing very well and very quickly. So that means we're also going to have to reuse the tables. The tables will be very cleaned and disinfected. We're going to be getting a company to help with that. And that'll be used for, well, go forth produce. This table will be used for planting stuff, and that table you can see right there, or maybe that table will be used for the harvest table. I'm still trying to figure out what the third table is going to be used for and where it could go, but very excited about that. We're also going to get some really fancy pictures throughout here. So you can notice that we have banners, but it kind of looks a little tacky in a way. It does look good, adds a little bit more detail to the room, but we're going to be getting some really cool art. There's going to be some around the kind of the bar area right there. There's going to be quite a few throughout the room in here, kind of showing strawberries, just making it look really kind of professional in a way. So this bar area is set up very well for a packaging station. So we're going to have a lot of cool technology over there with scales and all sorts of stuff to make sure the produce we're giving to families, grocery stores, businesses can trust us with the produce they're getting is extremely tasty and still safe to eat, and nothing bad has happened to that. Also, we're going to be getting, hopefully, some robot vacuums that might be very nice to kind of have that clean the room, because sometimes the room does get a little bit dirty after some big days of, well, making slime and working with soil a lot of the day. So that'll be very nice to have. And kind of what I was saying right there is, let's kind of get another view of this. You can kind of see the Bowflexes right there. It's not incredibly big, but it does take up a lot of room. So I'm thinking that will go right here. That'll be very nice to have. And then we're also going to have a very nice refrigerator, kind of a sliding door glass refrigerator that'll sit right here. And conveniently, we do have an outlet right there. And that'll be the main thing for this area. This will basically just be the storage area and a lot of amazing stuff to happen. We're also going to just kind of talking about the slime really quickly. We do have a lot of slime. A lot of stuff is definitely sold much better than it has. So we're going to be making a ton more icicle lemonade, like a lot more. We're also going to be trying to use up some of the existing ingredients. Like, let's just go over there. Like a lot of the boxes we're going to try to use up. We're going to try to use up some of those gallon containers. A lot of the slime care kits. A lot of other stuff here and there. Clay. And a lot of other containers. Now, extremely conveniently, a lot of the main expensive stuff in here can be easily reused. Like the label printer is going to be a huge plus, because I'm going to use that to print out some of the very colorful labels, because that quality is insane. So many other things that's still in store. Now, I do kind of wish I had a little bit more information and a lot more to show you. But for now, there's still so much to plan, and I'm really excited for the next year, kind of just making a lot more fun and funny videos for you guys. Instead of more of the business side, I really want to go more towards the creative side, more for just entertaining in a way. So Definitely a lot of stuff to go through, a lot of stuff to plan out. We're just barely into the planning stage. So much to still happen with business insurance, possibly hiring people eventually, where a lot of the budget money is going to come from. And luckily, very, very fortunate that Lego Investing will kind of help with that a little bit more. And just so many exciting stuff. I'd really love to know if you guys would be interested in maybe some of the ingredients we have later on. So like we have a ton of charms. So many that just isn't going to be used. And I was actually talking to some people the other day ago about really what I'm going to be doing. And I'd much rather sell a lot of the charms instead of just throwing them away, because there's no point. That's just a waste of money and a waste of supplies. And there's also a lot of people that I know that would really love some of this stuff. If you guys do think you would know anyone that might be interested, I'd really love to get in touch with you guys and work some stuff out, and definitely a lot of other stuff. I really do want to hear from you guys. What slimes do you want us to bring to the shop? There's so many ideas, so many things. I think my goal is I want to get out about 3 more slimes, and then we'll kind of just be a fun game of making some videos, slowly selling through the rest of the stock, and eventually we'll hit that point where a lot of the slime will be sold out, but a lot of those slimes that don't sell very well, we'll have to put on more clearance sales, try to sell the rest of it, and then we'll just go from there. It is very sad to kind of think about that out of a lot of the work that I've gone through, and a lot of the work and a lot of time you guys have spent to really watch this channel. But I'm very, very excited for what's in store for the future. A lot of amazing stuff and a lot of stuff to be excited about. So I really do want to hear from you guys, what you guys think about this. If you guys think this is a bad decision, if you guys think you're excited too from after watching this video, I really do want to hear from you guys. But this is gonna be a very fun year, and I'm very, very excited to look forward to what's in store. I will say this before I do wrap this video up. This idea is not final. There still is a lot more planning to do, and if something happens to come up in the next few months that kind of makes this business not really work out, stuff will change very significant, and Tropical will most likely just stay. We'll just kind of have to make a lot more changes to where it could be a lot more successful, and definitely a lot more stuff to learn. But at the end of the day, there's still a lot of beautiful stuff to happen, and very, very excited about that. But I do really want to mention that in today's video, just to let you guys know it is not finalized. There still needs to be a lot more planning out, and I really do need to kind of relook at a lot of the numbers to make sure this plan will work out completely, or if I need to kind of change my ending idea out. But for the most part, this is going to be the video. So if you guys like these types of videos, please subscribe, hit the bell notification on all so you're not miss a video, and please like this video. If you guys have any other ideas, and maybe some video ideas, maybe some new slimes, I really would love to hear from you guys in the comments and your opinion on what we talked about in today's video. I'm very, very excited for what's in store for the future, and I really do want to thank you all so incredibly much for this beautiful opportunity, and just really all your support that you guys have given to this small business. And just really just honestly thank you guys so incredibly much for just all your support. Very excited for the next year, and yeah, this is gonna be the end of the video. I'll see you guys when we do post next. Peace